Waiting on you.
Man, the things we do, the things that the talent requests before we go live. I tell you, it's
The
getting a little
talent.
bit. It's getting.
You know what? You can refer to me as the talent. Not one of the talents. The talent.
talent.
Just throwing that out there.
Ryan is the star of the show, and we're just here to feed him like softball jokes so he can make the funny punchline, and everybody goes, ah.
Now, at least you understand your place.
All right.
We are comedy fluffers. That's awesome.
Wow, that bitch from 11th
Talent
right.
Daddy. Satisfaction says Talent Daddy, and I will take that as well.
No, we cannot do that. No, we're not throwing out titles, daddy titles, willy-nilly here.
And we better get the spreadsheet going.
Yeah, oh shit.
They must be earned.
Exactly.
All right, everyone. Well, welcome to Gamers Week podcast. Like the name says, we analyze the best, worst, and weirdest headlines of the past week in the video game industry. This is episode 162, and today is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025, aka Happy Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order day for those who are planning on celebrating. As of the time of recording, pre-orders go live in about 2.5 hours. So
Is that today?
Really? Okay. Yeah, that is today.
that is today. And Tisse.
Huh. I
Patient.
completely forgot about that. This year, like so far, it's kind of screaming by. When they're talking about pre-releases and stuff like that, it's like, oh, the end of April. Like that's like next month. No, that's like now. And I'm like, oh shit, okay.
Yep, it's happening already. So I know what I'm doing when we're done recording. Hang on, I have to do this real quick for Satisfaction. He wants his mark on the board. There you go, Aragorn.
That is the longest tally of all time.
Are you criticizing how I mark my board now?
Yes, I am. That put more effort. Have some pride in your tallies.
Nobody asked you about the board. It's my board.
You. So
nobody asked you.
If you know that Satisfaction is going to show up possibly for every single recording, and he's going to put that emote in there, I thought it was just like if we talked about Stanky Aragorn and not just from the emote.
Are you criticizing the board too?
I'm not criticizing the board, but it seems like it's kind of watered down if it's just the emote that shows up and we don't have a full-on discussion or a sentence about Stanky Aragorn. That's just me.
Technically, since you brought it up, that the tally she just put
now
on is
fulfilled
now
the
valid.
requirement.
Now it's valid.
So you're welcome, I guess.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. My name is Blue Williams, and I will be your host for this evening. But, of course, as you can see, I am not alone. I do have two fine co-hosts with me. My first co-host has just been granted his own honorary creepy animatronic likeness in the Walt Disney World Hall of Presidents. Please, everyone, say hello to Ryan Payne, a.k.a. Retro Game Brews.
I'm telling you, William Henry Harrison, you never expected it.
WHH or WH squared. Yeah.
Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Don't ask me to expand on that.
I don't even know what you said. But
it's their slogan it was his presidential slogan.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Why do you know this stuff?
The atomic weight of cobalt is
See, and Webhead says, don't criticize Blue, the whiteboard daddy.
No, that is not another daddy title.
We
have get more.
We fucked up. We did. This is insert the Hangover meme here. Like, we fucked up with this daddy thing. Because now everything is a daddy. And all these different daddy titles. It's like when the Baby Bells split back in the 80s. And you need like Pacific Bell and Southwestern Bell and all that stuff. We need to bring those in back home. We need to rope them back in to one bell or one daddy.
I mean, if you guys want to forgo all your daddy titles and I'll remain the podcast daddy, that's fine.
Frank goes, calm down, Ryan. Why does he know this daddy?
And my second co-host is always ready for a quick and dirty bang bang, and he is not afraid to tell you if you're doing it wrong. Everyone, please welcome in the one and only Donnie G.
Those who can't do teach. So I think I'm in prime position to really offer my services and make you at the top of your game if you want to participate in these bangs.
I'm here for the bang bang.
All right, let's get the show started with our reviews, reactions, and requests. The Mad Monarch DI says, I've only just started last week's episode, and I'm here to tell you that chunky peanut butter is better than regular.
Depends on the day.
No,
I'm just
I
that
think,
guy at the baseball game with the thumb down, not
Yeah,
using any expression.
yeah.
just
Tony
like
Majors said, I was elated to hear that Blue is a fan of Fire and Ice. I enjoyed Solomon's Key on NES. In fact, when I was going through a spring cleaning / purge years ago, I sold / traded / donated all my NES carts except for my Solomon's Key cart. I just couldn't get rid of it because of my fond memories of playing it. I never got too much into Fire and Ice, but I think after Blue's comments, I'll dedicate more time to play it. I did wonder if she also played the original or the Game Boy sequel called Solomon's Club. So here's where Tony stops listening to the show.
uh-oh. Don't do it. Don't do it.
When I say I actually hated Solomon's Key, I liked Fire and Ice because it's basically nothing like Solomon's Key. So, sorry, Tony.
Yeah, yes.
And I'm Not Dangerous says, I don't do online only games. Other than a few test rounds over the years, my online play ended on OG Xbox. And if you want to sell me a license that can be revoked, the Jolly Roger goes up and you can blow me.
Well done. I'm not dangerous.
Oh.
I salute you, sir or ma'am.
I'm stealing that. The Jolly Roger goes up and you can blow me. I'm stealing that.
We should put that on one of our shirts.
Just the Jolly Roger or just the statement, the Jolly Roger goes up and you can blow me?
I think it's a package deal.
Okay.
Could we turn the Gamers Week logo into a pirate flag?
Yes, we could.
Love it.
That would not be that hard. Gamers Week podcast does not officially endorse piracy.
Not officially.
Not officially, right?
The official stance of Gamers Week podcast is we do not endorse piracy.
The law is the law, and we follow
it. All right, let's move on to our patron shoutouts.
We couldn't do what we do without the help of our gorgeous patrons. Here are the generous folks supporting Gamers Week on Patreon. Frank Grande, Love Retro BTW, Steven Sand, Ramboski, Terry Kinnair, Agil3030, Don't Make Me Pull This Car Over, Games with Coffee, Hybrid Divide, You Fall Before Me, Davey PGH, the Pixel Pond family, including Shannon and Luke, Zach Huge Thanks, Puzzle Butter, Number 1 Blue Sick Voice fan, John Barron, Sassy Sony, Evo Lust, Rai Wants This Boy's Soul, Mega Retro Man, Gameatroid, Moradib, Michael Bitches Leave, Love It, Lakite, yes! Emo-esque, Phil Tucker, The Real Retro Game Brews, Fruitcakes, Pickled Pepper, Ducks with Thick Thighs, absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress, Wizard of Zardoz, Bobs and Doug Nut, Blues Little Sis, Loud Moth, Retro Blast Pat, BNT Zilla Guy, The Mad Milkman, Seven Castle Forest, Crunchy Kong, and Sheriff Snacks. If you like what you hear today, and we really hope you do, please consider joining us on Patreon. Your support helps cover the cost of producing the show, as well as other cool stuff we'll be doing like prizes and giveaways. You'll also gain access to our bi-weekly patron-only bonus cast called Gamers Week Uncut, Patrons with Benefits. Visit patreon.com/gamersweek or follow the link in the show notes to learn more. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the person that put that image of Clarence Bodiger from RoboCop on an Atari 2600 cart, and the title was Bitches Leave.
That's amazing.
I've not, and I feel that my life is lacking now because I have not seen it.
Give a quick Google.
I have a question, Blue. I think this might be a first, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this might be the first time you've ever had to Yoshi the patron shout out. I love the look. Like, huh?
I cannot confirm that. It might be true, but I mean, we've done this 162 times.
It's true.
And it
I
keeps
don't
getting
remember.
funnier every single time you do
Every
it.
time I see it.
No, off the damn it! I wasted that. I'm gonna have to do that on 167.
Well, in
We'll
5
figure
more
it out.
weeks, everyone will have forgotten. So,
All right,
Exactly.
cool. We'll circle back to
yeah.
it.
Okay. All right, let's move on to our headlines.
All right, Headline segment is proudly sponsored by the Retro Game Club podcast. It's a fantastic family-friendly retro gaming podcast, and each episode, Rob picks 2 games to play and discuss, as well as news, interviews, and other topics. Right now, they want to know, what arcade cabinet would you like the opportunity to play? Whether it's a cab you've never played or one you rarely see and would like to play again. And shout out to No Swear Gamer for this week's question. Visit retrogameclub.net or follow the link in the show notes. Good fucking job, No Swear Gamer.
I say, No Swear Gamer probably doesn't like our show very much.
Right.
So, I think if there's an arcade cabinet that I see, every time I see it, I want to play it, it's Area 51. But here's the caveat. I want it to work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a very...
Yeah. I want the sights to actually be where they're supposed to be and not be like 4.5 inches to the left, kind of a thing. So that's what makes the cabinet rare, is a working Area 51.
nice. I'm stuck between going the old route, going with like the OG computer space, because it looks really cool. Always wanted to try it. And the other one, which I think was a Pong cabinet. I'm not 100% sure, but it was the Atari Boob controller game, right?
Boob.
I can't believe you like that one.
I'm usually a butt man, but
Good to know.
I'm not against boobs. I'm just saying.
Good to know.
One that always catches my eye, and most of them always do, like the classic ones to Donkey Kong, Popeye, Mario Brothers, whatnot. Love the old school Nintendo stand-up arcades. The one that always catches my eye and draws me back in is Dragon Slayer, especially with the original one with the mini TV up on top.
Oh yeah.
I think that was a hell of a gimmick. You know, if you got somebody sitting there in front of the arcade cabinet trying to work their magic through the game, everybody's crowding around trying to see. You can't really see. Guess what? You just look up. There it is. There's the gameplay on the monitor itself on top of the cabinet. I think that was a great trick. Love that one. See,
And honestly, if you
Red Ox
had
agrees with me.
any hope of getting through that game, you needed to watch everyone else make all their mistakes first and learn from it. After 3 hours of watching and studying, maybe you were ready to spend your precious like $3.75 in quarters that you brought with you.
And within the first like 20 seconds, you were proven wrong. You were not ready.
Yeah. Yep. I wasn't ready. All right, let's move on to this week's headlines. First up, Bethesda has finally revealed the worst kept secret in video games: Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. In a gameplay video published online, Bethesda showed the new visuals and features for the remaster of its much-loved open-world fantasy role-playing game, which is developed by remake specialist Virtuos using Unreal Engine 5. Bethesda chief Todd Howard discussed the evolution of Bethesda games and the visual upgrades the near 20-year-old game has now received. Oblivion Remastered runs at 4K resolution and 60 frames per second, as you'd expect, but other changes are more meaningful. Everything from the leveling systems to character creation and combat animations to in-game menus have been improved. Meanwhile, there's lots of new dialogue, a proper third-person view, and new lip-sync technology. The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion launched in 2006 as a follow-up to fan-favorite Morrowind on PC and Xbox 360, with a PlayStation 3 release following in 2007. It's set in the fictional province of Cyrodiil and revolves around the player character's bid to defeat a fanatical cult that wants to open a portal to the demonic realm known as Oblivion. Priced at $49.99, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered shadow dropped yesterday across PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5, as well as on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. If you've still got money burning a hole in your wallet, there's also a more expensive deluxe edition, and yes, it includes new horse armor DLC. Bethesda definitely knew what they were doing there.
I will say, not everybody was aware of this.
I
So
wasn't.
I saw a lot of people who were like at work when this dropped, and we're like, but the FOMO was
Right.
real.
You need to let people know when they need to take a day off so that they can
Exactly.
play your game. The shadow
Exactly.
drop's cool, but if you're doing it in the middle of the work week, it's not helping.
That's how
So
we afford these games is we got to go to work.
yeah,
So,
or
throw us a fucking
Tragically.
bone.
you have a
Yeah.
rich uncle or something. Is
Sanity says it's great, but they absolutely kept a lot of the nuts and bolts of mechanics. Like when I enter a room and like 6 NPCs all just clusterfuck into a corner to talk to each other. And that's a lot of what I've heard is that the remaster retains a lot of the charm of the original,
charm?
quote unquote, charm of the original, with all the bugs and glitches that you'd expect from a Bethesda release. And either you laugh or you probably didn't love this game in the first place.
I've never played it.
I think this is a compelling reason for people
Oh,
to
I'm
sign
on
up with
mute.
Game
No wonder.
Pass, and I
I feel
got
like
to
I'm getting cut
applaud
off. And I'm fucking
Microsoft for
mute.
making it a part of their offering. I bet you there was a shit ton of signups
Mm-hmm.
for Game Pass like instantly when this came up. So kudos to them. I mean, people probably won't stick around for the next month, but
Well, maybe.
nonetheless,
I mean, it's a 200-hour RPG.
that's a good point. So for the next 4 months, they're good to go, and then after that, they drop off. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never played Elder Scrolls Oblivion, so I don't know what I'm missing here. I would think that at a $49 price point, that you'd fixed. It's a remaster. You'd fix the bugs.
Well, is it bugs that kill the game? I would say yes. Please fix it. That if you can get soft lock somewhere,
Yeah.
absolutely fix that. But in this instance, it's just jank, it's just crappy jank, right?
See,
Is
and
it
that's
me?
what
Is it
Dex in Disguise says is good. I'm counting on good old Bethesda jank. It's
Right.
not a bug, it's a feature.
There
so?
we
Is
go.
it meme level, meme worthy jank? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Both of you are nodding your heads. I think we can. Thank you, Doogie. Thank you. I appreciate that. If it's well, my damn mic was muted whenever I came back in the room. I'm sitting there talking, and all of a sudden I was like, then I get cut off. I was like, oh, okay, well, fuck me, right? And then I looked down. I was like, oh shit, I'm ashamed. My mic was muted. Oh, there you go.
It's been a few episodes since we had somebody on mute, so it
Yep.
works out. But I will say that at $49.99, I know we said it's just a remaster, but the way that publishers have been working nowadays, they could easily throw this up there for 70, $80 and people would have still bought it.
Yeah.
Right.
So in a way, $49.99 feels like a bargain in this economy.
Well, yeah, Ducks in Disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a comparison. When they did the remaster, or would you consider those a remake of Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3?
I would consider those complete remakes because
Complete
they're
remakes?
not tank controls. Yeah,
Okay.
they're new games as opposed to this game is the same game, just prettier.
Okay. All right.
It's like but I will say DuckTales Remastered is not the same game, but they called it remastered. That's where I get tripped up.
Yeah.
Is that this is not like a hard and fast definition that everybody sticks to. So I guess maybe it's the opinion of the developer.
It's a gray area, I suppose.
Mhm.
Hey, welcome in, Davey PGH, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday, buddy!
Monday.
It's not every day that somebody turns 111 years old.
But doesn't look a day over 109.
Oh.
11 years.
His old balls and loose skin.
What's his 5-year plan? Not to die? Sorry.
So yeah, Ducks in Disguise says, yes, the world of physics is merely a suggestion in a Bethesda RPG. Sanity says with the level of remaster they did, I think $30 would have been the fair price, not a full priced game. And then You Fall Before Me says, imagine the industry getting it so wrong lately that Game Pass suddenly is looking pretty fine once again.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You know, Dungy, yeah, I haven't played Oblivion. I played Skyrim, but there was just so much to do. It was so open world that I didn't know what to do, and that kind of turned me off. But I'm getting through Elden Ring, which is kind of the same thing because there's
Mm-hmm.
no path. I mean, there are with the graces and everything that kind of throw you. It gives you the arc of where it suggests you should go, but it's open world, and I'm grown accustomed to that now. So maybe I could go back and play something like Oblivion and check it out, and Skyrim, and really get into it. But it just was not my thing back then.
The Donnie of yore was easily overwhelmed by
Very
too
much
much
so.
possibility.
Very much so. I do like variety, and that was a lot of variety.
All right, next up, Pocketpair has presented a comprehensive multi-argument defense against Nintendo's Palworld lawsuit with a response that references a variety of games ranging from Octopath Traveler to Far Cry 5. In September 2024, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company sued Pocketpair in Japan, alleging that Palworld infringes on several of their jointly held patents. The Palworld developer publicly vowed to fight the lawsuit, but until now has shared no details on how it intends to do so. The first concrete information on the company's defense strategy has now emerged via GamesFray, who obtained Pocketpair's initial response to the lawsuit from the Tokyo District Court. In regard to claims relating to patent JP7545191, which describes a system for capturing creatures and releasing creatures into battle, Pocketpair argued that none of its elements were new at the time of its late 2021 filing. The company used its prior game Craftopia to illustrate this claim, arguing that while it doesn't do everything Nintendo's patent describes, it could easily be combined with features from other existing games to arrive at the same result. The company also cites Titanfall 2, Far Cry 5, Tomb Raider, and Octopath Traveler among prior titles whose systems overlap with patent JP7545191 and which could be combined with Craftopia to end up with Palworld's creature capture system. Pocketpair also made multiple non infringement arguments against each of the three patents in the lawsuit, but these will only come into play if the company fails to successfully argue the lawsuit's invalidity.
So I have a question about this. You're right.
Yes.
If you combine this game with that game and this game over here, it can come to that result. But that's not what happened. You didn't combine those games. You did this in one game. So I'm not sure I'm not sure how they're going to argue that, saying, well, this game kind of did it, and this game over here kind of did it, and this one over here, they kind of did it. But if you combine all of those, then sure, yeah, it's just like this, and they got to release their games. I don't see how that's valid.
I don't know how the courts work in Japan, though. So that's one of the things that speaking from being naive to this, but in the US, I'm familiar with the idea of the burden of proof, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the burden of proof is really on Nintendo to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Palworld is a ripoff of Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, from the immediate smell test, it kind of is. Like, I think we all joke about that, Pokemon with guns, but the question that and it has to do with the patent than it does like anything else. Is like, if I remember right, wasn't the patent put into place after Palworld either released or was in development?
Right. It was put into place after the game released and then backdated.
How can you backdate a patent?
I think it was an amendment to an existing patent that was from an earlier date. So in effect, the new changes were backdated, as I understand it.
So wouldn't they be grandfathered in though in some way because they had
As you said, we don't know how it works in Japan.
Right.
I mean, it's a very strange situation because Pocketpair's like, no, we didn't copy Pokemon, but all of us can look at it and say, but yeah, you did.
You fucking did. Yeah,
you fucking
really
did. But then Nintendo is not arguing like the really obvious part of the designs and the general concept of it. They're hinging everything on these patents that weren't actually patents. They still had to hurry and file these patents so that we can sue these people. And so it's like, we didn't copy Pokemon, but you did. And then we patented this stuff, but you didn't. And so they both seem like they're full of shit. And somebody's going to win. I don't know.
I mean, if you want to, maybe Namco can go back and patent anything that looks fluffy and eats things. Oh, we can sue you about Kirby now because we backdated it to 19 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make a whole lot of sense?
No.
I don't think so.
But nothing in this day and age makes any sense right now.
This is fair.
I don't know. I mean, Nintendo is litigious. We know that. They like to use lawyers. It's just, I don't know what prompts that, but whatever. They like to. It's funny because they've been like at the beginning of their time in the video game industry, they were the subject of so many lawsuits, and now they're like, now that we have the money, let's sue everybody else. So I don't get it, but in the same sense, if you were concerned about somebody stealing the thunder of Pokemon, you would have put these patents in place when things like Digimon came up, and
Yep.
what was the other one? But nonetheless, there were a bunch of clones of that back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yep.
And just because this one made a shit ton of money, now we're gonna play that game.
Yeah, it's too little too late, in
Mhm.
my opinion, because Nintendo should have done this back in the 90s when Pokemon proved to be a worldwide success. But they didn't. They waited 30 years, something like that, to file these patents. So, yeah. I mean, again, this whole thing is kind of mysterious to us, and like, why is any court bothering to waste their time with this? But as we've said a couple times, we don't know how it works in Japan, so it's anybody's guess how this is going to turn out.
I will say, if you're asking for like who I'm biased against or who I'm biased towards, I want Pocketpair to win this one. But last time I said that, Billy Mitchell won a lawsuit, so
Please don't jinx things.
Right, I'll knock on wood.
Is that real wood or is that veneer?
It's veneer. Shit.
Shit. He wants Pocketpair to win, but do you see what's behind him? Do you see the shrine that's behind him?
Oh, dude, I love Nintendo.
And look how he supports it.
I mean, it's all stuff back when they were less of an asshole, except for these two.
Yeah, I was about to say, the Switch, what, 2 years ago? Come on, man.
All right.
On particle board.
Next up, tragedy strikes as Hollywood has run out of video games to adapt and is now forced to make an OutRun movie fronted by Sydney Sweeney and Michael Bay. Sweeney is best known for her roles in shows like Euphoria, White Lotus, and The Handmaid's Tale, as well as films like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Though best known for her on-screen work, Sydney is only attached as a producer at this point. Bay is known as a longtime director of action films, including Bad Boys, Armageddon, 5 Transformer films, wow, 5, and Pearl Harbor. The film is being developed by Universal Pictures, though plot details are scarce at the moment. You may note that Universal Pictures is also the studio behind the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is the studio's third highest grossing film of all time, behind only Jurassic World and Furious 7. While OutRun hardly has the name recognition of Super Mario Bros., it stands to reason that Universal would want to return to the video game adaptation that brought them success with both the Super Mario Bros. Movie and Five Nights at Freddy's.
A red Ferrari. And that's the only plot that you have right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be like the Stephen King book, Christine.
Yeah.
Just merge that and it with the red Ferrari and we're good to go.
Or is it going to be something like a Cannonball Run type movie?
I mean, I would love that. My guess is, though, it's from the studio that does Fast and Furious. So it's just going to be a Fast and Furious.
I was going to say, yeah, it's a Universal movie produced by Michael Bay. Everybody already knows exactly what the movie is going to be from start to finish already.
I wonder if I can get an invite to the premiere, since I hold the world record for points for OutRun on the Sega Genesis, and it's still valid. It's still a valid world record.
I would send them an email.
Okay.
And then wear a shit ton of Gamers Week
Yeah,
merch.
Yeah, you should. But
exactly.
no. Don't settle for an invite to the premiere. You need to be in the movie.
In the movie.
You hold the world record for OutRun
If they
on a
could,
cart from yours truly.
yes, yes, you guys provided me the cart. That was all, and that is the world. I got the message. It was a future world record holder cart, and that's exactly what that ended up being.
Predicted the future.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. You
Now-
Fall Before Me says you can never outrun family.
Oh, God. That's a horrible tagline, but I love it.
Mm.
Oh man. And is it like Ocean Breeze, is right? Is like the favorite soundtrack that you turn it to, right?
Radio channel, yeah.
Yep.
They're gonna have to have remasters of those songs in the movie for the hardcore
I bet you they
people.
don't.
I bet you they do.
Nobody knows what outrun is.
A lot.
I mean, we've got 17 people in the chat right now, the three of us. That's 20 people in the world who know what outrun is. Would recognize if you remastered Ocean Breeze for the movie.
That's you right now.
Everyone else.
Driving the knife into my heart, saying that nobody knows what outrun is.
Nobody knows.
I
mean, ask Sydney Sweeney. You think she has any idea?
I'm just saying, if Sydney Sweeney's in the movie, I will watch it.
She's producing so far.
Yeah, right now. She's behind the camera.
I will not watch it.
I think
We'll wait and see. Maybe they won't be able to get any other actresses in, and she'll be like, fine, I'll do it.
I think you're onto this, though. I need to email somebody. Like, hey, look, I currently hold the world record for outrun on the Sega Genesis. What's a Sega Genesis? Fuck. What are you doing this to me?
I bet you Michael Bay's email is like mbayexplosions@michaelbay.com.
He's the kind of show that would have his own domain. His email domain. If you're listening to this, Michael Bay, I'm sorry, I did not mean to call your show. I would really like to have a cameo in your Outrun movie.
Donnie, I need to talk to you. Just listen to that episode that you did.
Chode is a term of endearment.
So there is a michaelbay.com, and the website pops up with a birth and family, the beginning of a journey. Each person carries a piece of his or her family and background, but it's about an actor apparently named Michael Bay, which is incredibly disappointing.
Lame.
Dottie will be the gem in a huge steaming pile of. No, that's not true. If Sydney Sweetie's in it, then
she's not in it.
I'm saying if. Right now she's only latched on as a producer, but if she's in it.
So the Cannonball Run was outrun as a comedy and race movie. Interesting.
Yeah.
Good point, Jay.
So which one? No, which one inspired the other?
It's a very good question.
Which came first?
Maybe they came at the same time.
Well,
Always the best when that happens.
I'm pretty sure Cannonball Run came out first. That was like an early 80s movie.
81.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then Outrun was
87?
Yeah, it was
88?
late 80s.
87, 88? 86.
86. So there we are.
I am Arcade Daddy. That's fine.
Sanity says Smokey and the Bandit, Cargo Fast. You know, if they can bring back Burt Reynolds, I'm in.
Isn't he dead?
Yes, he is.
Why? Why are you ruining my dreams?
No, but you said bring back, so I just wanted to clarify that so anybody who's like thinking that you didn't know that, we're like, yeah.
Zombie Burt
Have
Reynolds.
a seance, right? Like, nah.
Die fast.
You know, if they can clone dire wolves and bring those back,
Right.
then why are we not bringing back Burt Reynolds?
Oh, God. Could you imagine? Oh, I could see. I know this is going to be off topic, but the movie studios now will be cloning their old dead actors and actresses so that they can keep producing movies en masse with these stars.
That's what I mean. It's a lot cheaper just to make them AI.
Yeah.
But if you want it to be truly authentic and chef's kiss.
Well, have you ever seen the movie Multiplicity?
Yes, I have.
Mhm.
She
Where
touched my peppy,
the
Steve.
clones are worse. The
Yes.
more you make. If you touch my peppy, Steve. It's like man, we're getting too far away from Bert, man. This Bert is real fucked. Bring back the Three Stooges, nice.
You're on mute.
God damn it.
It's twice in one episode.
And it wasn't me.
Your turn is next.
Mm-hmm.
Webhead says Blue's not above necromancy, and no, I am not.
Ryan started it all. I remember before we started doing video, he was always on mute. Now,
Yep.
it's us.
Yep.
It's because I used to just like leave and come back.
Fuck this. Beep. I'm gonna go take a dump.
Okay, next up. 34 years later, Paul Rudd is reprising the SNES role that got him into acting with an adorable Nintendo Switch 2 trailer. Paul Rudd's original SNES ad is very 90s. High-pitched horror music introduces a boy in a black overlong coat who enters an abandoned drive-through movie theater to play the console on seemingly the biggest screen you can find outdoors. The newly released Switch 2 ad, more than 3 decades later, opens in much the same way. Paul Rudd dons the same outfit, hairdo and all, but barely looks like he's aged a day, and that same eerie music plays as he slots the console into its dock with a fog spewing into, this time, his house. The rest of it is far more wholesome and adorably corny, though, as Rudd just plays Mario Kart World with some of his on-screen family. And as a side note, you just have to love how unafraid Nintendo is of showing off its extremely laggy screen sharing game chat feature.
I'm so glad that this is included in this article because that's exactly what I was going to bring up if it was not. Is that yes, this was not a great show.
No, I mean it is funny. They're just like, we're not ashamed. Here, we're gonna keep demonstrating this as if it's the greatest thing ever. And
Because people
yeah,
are going
okay.
to buy it.
I mean, they are, but I don't think they're buying it for that.
No, not at all. And I loved that they redid this with Paul Rudd. I couldn't have been happier when I saw that. I was like, oh my god, like really? And he's talking about, he's like, yeah, I was in this Super Nintendo commercial like 34 years ago, yada yada yada. Now, I will say that Paul Rudd is an ageless wonder. Guy still looks young, but I can tell a difference. Between now.
Yeah, well,
Paul
the difference
He
is
finally aged.
a little bit. It's a little bit of gauntness in the cheeks.
Right,
But I would
yes.
just say, because in the 90s ad, he's wearing that outfit. He's rocking it. He looks great. This one is like, oh my god. It's like the John Wick haircut. It didn't age well.
Mhm.
It's not a good look.
I wonder if
He's
I can
56 years old. Wow.
Yeah. I wonder if I can find his outfit for PRG this year.
Do it. Oh my god. That would be amazing. The pink t-shirt, the beaded necklace, the long jacket, and then you have to have the wig. That would really sell it.
You know, and PRG is like the only place in the world where somebody would be like, Paul Rudd
Yeah.
from the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Because like even in the Nintendo Switch spot, they had to call it. They're like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm redoing my ad from 1990, whatever. Because nobody remembers. Like we remember, but nobody
Pepper's-
else remembers. It's
Pepper's
way
Farm
too
remembers.
obscure.
Well, the
Pepper's
interesting
Farm
part is even up to like a year or so ago, I remember people posting that online. Did you know Paul Rudd was in a Super Nintendo commercial? And how many people responded like, oh, I had no idea. Oh my God, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it's even obscure to most folks, but kudos to Paul for having fun with it as well. You know, bringing back something that really, when he was starting his career.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the original commercial is, I don't know, 30 seconds or something. And this was like 2 minutes long. And I admit I only made it halfway through. Before it's too corny. It's too cheesy. I can't do it.
Cheesy,
I cannot. I tried my best though.
Oh, so it's like an episode of The Office?
Hate mail coming.
Please direct your comments to the one and only Donnie G.
I loved it. I got a kick out of it.
Oh man, we just dropped 8 viewers.
All right, let's move on to our top 3 new releases.
1 second. Can I say something really quickly?
In your defense before they kill you?
No. When I hear or see those articles like, did you know that this happened in the 90s? Did you know that this person played this? Did you know that? Yes, I fucking know. And every time I see it, I'm like, yes, I know. I lived it. I was there. I saw it. Like I dreamt, I lived that thing for days and weeks and months and years. But then I get it. I get it because they don't know. But it's irritating. That's all.
Okay. Thank you for that.
All right. For our top 3 new releases.
Yes, let's move on to our top 3 new releases. Old man yells at cloud.
Pretty much.
First up, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is a groundbreaking turn-based RPG with unique real-time mechanics, making battles more immersive and addictive than ever. Lead the members of Expedition 33 on their quest to destroy the Paintress so that they can never paint death again. Explore a fantasy world inspired by Belly Poke. Belly Poke.
You got an Indian or natty, man.
Right. In which you battle devastating enemies.
This is why we can't have anything classy in this show.
No, of course not. It is Belly Poke.
Oui.
Next up, Post Trauma, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. A puzzle horror game inspired by the PS2 classic of the genre. Roman, a tormented train conductor, awakes to find himself in a surreal dimension following the terrible panic attack. As you find clues and solve puzzles, you gradually learn more about where you are and how you can escape, using a delicate mix of patience and cunning to stay alive, and maybe a pad and paper too. Isn't it a pad of paper? I don't know. Next up, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered modernizes the 2006 Game of the Year with all stunning visuals and refined gameplay. Explore the vast landscape of Cyrodiil like never before and stop the forces of Oblivion from overtaking the land in one of the greatest RPGs ever from the award-winning Bethesda Game Studios. So, looking at these 3, Donnie, what are you in for?
Cyrodiil, more like Borophyll. Sometimes the names that these people come up with for people and places. It's definitely not Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Like I said, I've never played Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Will I eventually? Maybe. I'm not going to start it off this week. Claire Obscure, groundbreaking turn. What's so groundbreaking about it? I don't really know.
Play it.
Well, how about they tell me? How about I go read an article and they tell me what's groundbreaking about this particular turn-based RPG than everything else that's currently out there? Real-time mechanics? Okay, explain that. What does that mean?
Unique real-time mechanics.
Oh, there you go.
Real-time turn-based.
You sold me. I haven't really done an RPG in quite some time. Nothing stands out about Claire Obscure, although there aren't a pirate ship. That's kind of fun. But
we do not endorse pirates here.
We do not endorse piracy. My Jolly Roger is raised, and you can, which leads us to post-trauma. Post-trauma puzzle horror game inspired by PS2 classics. Yes, please. We all know how I felt about the Silent Hill 2 remake and how that game made me feel. If this one does the same, I think I'll be happy, but it looks a little bit more cartoonish. I wouldn't say cartoonish, but a little dialed down from what Silent Hill 2 looks like. But puzzle game, puzzle horror, that's my alley. I think I'm going to go with post-trauma this week.
Nice. Blue, what about you?
So this is a great week, and this wasn't even all the good games releasing this week, but they were just like the biggest titles that I've heard the most buzz about. But of course, the big one of the week is the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster. I think the collective internet had to go change their pants yesterday after the live stream where it was shadow dropped, and then so, we already talked about this mostly as our first topic. It's a pretty good price considering the way things are these days with game prices. It's got a good third person view now, which is good for me. And it's the same game that everybody loves, but prettier. So, I mean, I think that sounds like a no brainer. Post trauma, like Donnie said, this looks like if Silent Hill 2, but James Sunderland was like a middle aged kind of overweight train conductor. And but otherwise it looks like this is Silent Hill 2.
What is wrong with middle-aged and overweight?
I didn't say anything was wrong.
Okay, just making sure.
I got a little bit of a belly, you know what I mean? What's wrong with that?
You often see it in your so it's, but I mean,
Uh,